I thought I'd take a break from the product management videos for a moment and talk about something different. So I've had several interactions over the past days about two topics, introverts and presenting and interviewing. So I thought I'd combine those into one document or presentation. So first you need to know a little bit about introverts and extroverts. So the theory of introverts and extroverts was developed in the 1920s by Dr. Carl Jung. And what he said was that introverts and extroverts are two ends of a scale, of a sliding scale. So most people occupy somewhere in the middle on that scale, closer to one end or another, and that says you're more introvert or more extrovert. And what those two terms mean is intra is how you internalize your thoughts and emotions and your energy, and extra is also how you externalize your thoughts and emotions and energy. And that internalization or externalization affects how you respond, particularly to social situations, such as large groups, like when you're presenting. So what that means in terms of thoughts, for example, is an introvert will internalize what they're thinking. So they'll sit quietly, they will think, maybe in a meeting, for example, they'll sit quietly and think, and then at the end, they will say their conclusion. An extrovert thinks differently, so they're thinking while they're talking. So probably they're talking for the whole meeting, but that's actually their process of thinking. They might end up at the same conclusion, just different ways of getting there. The same is true about energy. So if you think we have a kind of a battery of internal energy, an extrovert will gain more energy from being in a social situation, from interacting with a large group of people, and they'll lose energy when they're alone. An introvert is the opposite. So we will gain energy by being alone, or maybe with a best friend or a partner or a cat, and we will lose energy in that big social group situation. So that's not the end of the world. You can manage that if you know that. So for example, if I know I'm giving a presentation in the middle of the day, beforehand, I will spend some alone time, or again, maybe with my cat, and that will raise my internal energy. Then I'll lose energy during the presentation, and then afterwards I need to retreat to a safe space and take some time alone and recover, regain my energy. So honestly, personally, I spent decades as someone who hated all group events, parties, presentations, and then I did some studying, and I realized actually I'm 77% introvert. You can do tests for this. And with that knowledge, in the last 10 years I've presented to the press, to more than 1,000 people in a company, to executives, I've run training courses. I still don't like parties, but maybe that's something different. So for presenting, if you're presenting, someone's asked you to present. That means you're the expert. Nobody knows more about this than you do. So you should take confidence in that. You're not speaking to a large group of people, or even in a room or in a broadcast. So when I'm doing this video, I don't think I'm speaking to the billions of people on the planet. I think I'm doing this broadcast to just one person who's watching this video. So you can do the same in a meeting room environment or a presentation environment. So rather than looking at all the people, just look at one person. And maybe you don't have to look them in the eyes, just look at their face or the upper part of their body. That's enough. Say a few words, then look away to your notes or a screen or something else, and then go back to a different person, maybe in a different area of the audience. And by doing that step by step, you give the impression that you're talking to the whole audience, everyone feels involved, and you don't feel intimidated by the huge number of people. So while you're talking, you're in control. But of course, it might be an interview or there might be a Q&A session. So you still need to deal with that. But remember, you're still the expert and you're still in control. So whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I always recommend to have a few key points that you want to communicate, a core message, a key emotion. And you always want to end on that, and you always want to, if you get in trouble, steer back to that point. So additionally, we always sometimes get difficult questions, but we feel a pressure to reply quickly when we're asked a question. You don't have to. Introverts like to think quietly by ourselves and then reply. And that's perfectly fine in an interview situation as well. So take a few seconds, think about your response, then you can reply. And worst case, if you don't know, it's okay to say you don't know. You'll get back to them later. Remember that when someone asks you a question, generally they want to know how or why. They don't so much usually want to know what or the detail or an example. You can use examples, you can use the detail, you can make a story out of it, but that should be the support. What they really want to know is how or why of something. And if someone's asking you a question, always look at the person who's asked you the question. Again, you don't care about anyone else in the room at that point. You care about the person who asked you the question. And again, that should make it in a one-on-one interaction, which is better for us introverts. So just remember, introverts and extroverts are different. We internalize and externalize our thoughts, emotions, and energy differently. Once you know that, you can prepare. And once you're prepared, then you can remember that you're in control, that you are the expert, that you can deal with one person at a time, and you can always, if in doubt, go back to your key point and your core message. So I hope that's useful. I will do another video later on storytelling, but for now, thanks for watching.